evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Cooking with Dan Leslie. My name is Janet Rapasardi-Hoff. I'll be your host this evening, and we're standing in the kitchen as usual with Dan. How you doing, Dan?
Not bad.
Not bad?
Not bad.
Allergies
kicking in.
Oh, I know. It's allergy season, but it's nice weather season, too.
My eyes are all squinty and stuff. I can't take it.
Folks, I wish you could be in this kitchen to wonderful, aromas and scent. Gosh, this is great. What's going on? What's going on over here?
We normally taped on a Wednesday, right?
Yeah, today's
Tuesday. We get a few things together here, so you're rolling in here. I almost forgot, quite frankly, right about the time we get some of our stocks and whatnot going for the week. So
that's because he was ready to play golf, folks.
No golfing
No?
today. I only play on days that end in Y. Yeah, we were just gonna we were in the process of making a demi-glace that we use for certain dishes.
Okay, that's French.
An accent, yes. Yes, I can't. I'll tell you, we were going to make a Cajun dish, a blackened dish here. We had another sauce we were making that was along the French zone.
I was noticing this. Yeah, it's cold. Now, was this a fish stock?
Yeah, we had done that
last week.
Right, on the last show. We had, that's right, we had a little fish stock. This is another batch of it, but it's you see how it gets this sort of gelatinous, it comes together like that,
Sure.
It's just a real reduction, and we use non-fatty fish bones, and we're going to put into a sauce that after we get done reducing it, it's a cream sauce, just a little lighter, and it's got a nut-sweet taste to it. I'm telling you, it's gorgeous, but it works well with of seafood dishes, fish fillets. We also accent it a little bit on lighter dishes, put a little bit of it in. It gives it a little sheen to the dish and a little body, so it's nice. This is going to take us. Well, I roasted these for about 2.5 hours. Okay. They're veal bones, and we use them and basically use them in pork, veal, and steak type dishes. We're going to end up boiling these, simmering these, if you would, slow roll, for 7-8 hours.
Wow.
And then we are going to take the bones out. We had some of our last batch, if you would, sitting there. We're going to mix that back in and reduce this to, it gets a real brown consistency, and it's just a very velvety base, very flavorful sauce. I guess it gets very gelatinous also because some of the meat comes out of the knuckles and various bones and stuff. So it's just a tremendous dish, and we can really accent a few dishes with it. I have a lighter veal stock. We put it in a veal marsala. We do try to brown it in the pan. If we weren't successful, which happens here to there, we could take a little touch of this stuff to get the, never. We never, no boo-boos around here.
No, we don't do boo-boos.
But it's a tremendous accent. It does cost me a lot of time and whatnot to bring this together, but we feel it's worth it for what we get out of it, How you doing, Greg?
Okay.
What's up? Now, and Dan knows now because I've been busting your chops for the last 3-4 shows about caramelized onions. That's one of my favorites. But I haven't seen it from the start now. Is this the beginning?
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4. Enough for 6 days for me. The 7th day is the day of rest.
Right. You got no onions. The 7th day. Forget it. You can handle only so many onions. But you see how low we have the flames?
Very low.
I would say this was 30% higher, mounted, at least 30%. And these have been going, believe it or not, for 45 minutes.
Now, is there anything, there's a little bit of liquid, did you put anything in?
Just a little oil, a little cheap oil I put in as a starter.
Okay.
And we'll finish them with they get kind of gummy and sticky. They're going to be in here for about 2.5 hours, believe it or not.
Wow. Very labor intensive.
Yeah, I'll tell you. And
you don't do this 30 minutes before guests are coming over, right?
It's one of those things we don't get enough appreciation for, but we do and we don't. I don't think people can realize sometimes the effort that goes into it. But we're going to finish this. It gets a little sticky. We'll probably add a little water just to loosen it, a touch, and some salt and some pepper. But the trick is that when you're getting down to the finish line, you want to they're going to sugarize themselves. They get very, very sweet. And it's incredible. They're mellow, sweet. Oh, I'm telling you, they're gorgeous.
So you don't put sugar. You don't add sugar at all.
No, no sweeteners added.
Straight from the onion.
Right.
itself.
There's a lot of sugar in most of these vegetables, and it's just really neat how it happens. I mean, if we take them off just a little bit sooner, and if you bring them along too rapidly, that's the big problem, because you're going to visually see a brown color. You're actually burning them. You have to be very careful. So what they don't have is the texture. the soft, mellow texture, and it didn't give them the ability to, you know, to sugarize themselves. So you really, really have to be patient, keep the flame low. And sooner or later, we're just going to see if I can get any noise. See how much water is down there? Sooner or later, this water is going to be evaporating. See that? That one there, this is on a little higher than the others. We got a little of that brown stuff happening there.
Right.
I'm going to turn this one down. I want to try to keep these all balanced. And I end up feeding one into the other. And like I said, these were about 30% higher to start with. And we're going to end up with about a gallon of onions out of all of this. That's all we're going to end up with. So, you know, what started out to be an $8 bag of onions
yeah,
is going to turn into
just before we started the show, folks, I mean, the pile was about up to here for each one of these. But now I remember the last time I was here, you had a huge, almost like a huge stock pot that you had these in. Do you take them from here and put them into a
I don't know, maybe
pot,
it was just a
you...
holding. I can't remember. I can't remember what we were doing that time. But the, you know, the more base we have to work with, the more, you know, flame. That's why instead of having them piled in a big pot, we have them on 6 burners here. But we'll end up consolidating them a little bit. And what's good is once they start browning, the moisture from the onions that haven't gotten to the bottom of the pan, you roll that down and the water in there helps deglaze the bottom of the pan. All right, so what we're going to do is, what should we do first? I guess we should get these bones out of the way. So I've got my little potty waddy here. And all we're going to add to it is some water.
Just a very little pot.
Just a teeny pot.
Teeny pot.
Yeah, we're going to put the bones in here.
Okay.
Going to scrape some of the brown base off of the pan. We're going to add some water and, believe it or not, a little bit of tomato paste. And the tomato paste is just really, some people take the tomato paste and various vegetables and put them in the oven and roast them together, and then put it in. But as it cooks along, you don't want to add so much that it affects the flavor. But by the end of the 7-8 hours of reducing this, the tomato will turn color and work more with the brown. Okay? And we don't get that involved with, you know, we add vegetables and that sort of thing later. The essence here is what's in the bones and the flavor of the bones. So we don't get all involved with carrots and everything else. We do that later. I think these have cooled off enough that I can start tossing them in here. So what's going on with you there, Janet?
Oh, just working, just working.
Just working?
Yeah. Trying to get out and do things. Weather's been really nice lately.
Yeah, it really has. We can work with this. The allergies, though, I'll tell you. When the weather is not good and the cloud cover is down, oh my Lord. I'll tell you, I was hurting for certain there.
Well, they're saying this is a bad year.
In fact, I had a bad night's sleep last night, which is why we almost didn't do this show today. All right, you see all this this brown right here. I'm not going to do that on camera. I'm going to end up taking this oil off of here. I'm going to put a little water here, put the burners on, and really try to scrape this off and get it into the stock. It's going to help the base, but we're not going to do that right now, okay? It could be a real, real mess. Let me tell you. You don't want to see it, folks, believe me. I'll get over here and get the rest of our bones. And you really have to be careful when you're doing this sort of thing. You see some of these recipes are calling, sorry, almost an elbow to the chin here, but you see some of these recipes really call for, it's shocking the amount of bones for a chicken stock or something like that you need, the amount of bones that you need to make this little bit of chicken stock, rather. And it's just incredible. You really need a lot of bones. They're kind of cheap. And if you're wanting real base flavor out of what you're making, you really have to minimize the water. So you want to you got to really maximize the bones, minimize the water here if you want to get any great flavor from these stocks. As you can see, I have this filled almost to the brim.
I wonder if the folks at home can see into this stock pot. This is really...
There's a lot of bones in here.
Yeah, this is really filled to the top.
I know.
It's amazing, but there's no other way to get that fragrance and that taste. I mean, this is just out of this world.
Exactly. But this really makes some kind of sauce, you know. I've done that with a few friends. It's especially great if you were doing a sauce at home, let's say, where you had, you know, that filet mignon and you wanted that little accent sauce to it. Maybe get some, or lamb. Maybe for the lamb you get a little rosemary, red wine, and garlic going in a pan and saute that up a little. And add some of this demi-glace to it. Just reduce it, and it gets syrupy, naturally syrupy. And you strain this out to a real fine sieve. Maybe the next day you just heat it up a little bit, and you got this. It does go from gravy to sauce. That's what my wife said. We want a gravy here. We don't want one of your sauces. But the kids love it, Ma.
And now this too. I mean, we're really working with a wonderful mixture of you know, of should I say culinary diversions? I mean, you've got
we
you've
go
got
from
the
one
French,
neck of the woods.
yeah, you've got the French going here with the demi-glaze and everything.
Right.
You know, we do Italian. We do a little doing a little Cajun.
I'll tell you,
There's
more
nothing-
and more, I'm really, I don't know whether to laugh or cry, but the
Nothing stopping the chef.
It's a good thing. I like to mix it up a little bit, if you would.
Yeah,
you know?
you got to do that.
We want to mix it up. I'm going to put about a quarter of this can in here.
Makes it interesting.
Yeah, we're going to blacken some tuna here. We do the old veal marscala, and we have a lot of red sauce items that are great, and we'll mix it in the fromage. I guess that's enough here. Hopefully that's going to wash down. Now, I want to cover these bones. I do have a lot in here, but there's a lot of air in here also, so hopefully they're going to work their way down. I'll have to mess around with that. And again, all this brown base we have on the pans here. We'll get off camera, and I'll wrestle with that. I'll start raking and baking here. I do have some water ready. We should get this on. Let's see how much of this water I've managed to spill all over the place on camera. Come on, get down there, baby. All right, we found a little tunnel.
And are we trying to go halfway here? I mean, is there
you should really try to cover the bones.
Oh.
And for the beginning, they won't be covered, but I'll see if I can't work them down. Otherwise, I'll probably take them out. All right, I got water in there now. I'll get it started. Where should I go with this? I'll go to the rear of the bus. There we go. And I just got enough water in here to get it going. We got to get the show moving here. We've seen enough stock. Got a couple dishes we want to do. I don't know if we're going to get to them, but we're going to do our best.
Oh, we've got a flame underneath this.
Right,
yeah.
right. We had a cast iron pan. We're going to do a little blackened tuna if we had time. In the meantime, I guess we could do that while I was getting this other dish going. We should do at least one dish, but I was going to make that cream sauce here.
Ooh.
Okay, that Vin Blanc. My Lord, look at all that. We're going to use that fish stock, and I needed a bunch of shallot for that. I had a little measuring cup. I tried to get about 2 cups of it in here.
And this is for the vin blanc?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is going to be for the Vin Blanc.
Better known as white sauce.
It just got such
For you folks out there that don't know how to speak French and have no inclination to do it.
I mean, I love an Alfredo sauce and stuff.
Yeah.
See how that's starting to stick a little bit there? See that?
A little brown.
And yeah, exactly. And that brown is the operative word. There's a big difference between browning something and burning something. That's, you know, and give me a chef that's willing to approach what I call maximum brown to get maximum flavor, you know? Anybody can wimp out early, you know. We're taking this one right up the middle and gonna score with it. No, you wanna go maximum brown on this stuff, but you know, like you don't wanna burn. I occasionally, you know, if someone's working with me, I'll be happy that they did 2 things. I'll be happier that they burned something rather than took it off limp and early. What was the other thing?
I don't know.
Don't forget to brush your teeth in the morning. No, we don't. We want to miss the bad breath when you're here on the cooking line. Forget it. No, but the other thing is you don't want to, we don't want anything overcooked. I don't want to see anything cinderized. So I did say on one dish, I said, if this ever comes back underdone, I can't rather recall what it was, but I said, I'll applaud you. And we were kind of busy and came back. They're yelling at me. I gave them a, very good, very good. Certain things are hard to underdo. Certain these little veal cutlets, filet of sole, angel hair.
Okay, yeah.
We won't want, I don't want this stuff overcooked. So if you're going to miss it on the other side. And you're never going to be perfect. We try to be, but miss it on the underdone side is what I say. So we're going to cut a whole ton of shallot up here. We're going to do a shallot white wine reduction. Going to add our fish stock, and this is going to take us a few hours also.
Wow.
So this is Tuesday morning. This is what we do.
So I have to come back, what, Thursday, Friday to see you, Dan?
That's right, you forgot your purse, right?
And I can't eat right now?
All right, I'll just start wheeling these shallots a little bit.
A lot
Check
of shallots.
these onions, right?
A lot of shallots.
These onions, I do combine them as we're going along here. You can see one's a little darker than the other.
Sure. Yep.
It's not a perfect world, okay? I'm trying to balance these things as best I can. But you see how the water is mixing? I mixed the other onions down, and it cleared the whole bottom of the pan off. See how there's nothing there now?
Right.
So this keeps happening until there's really no more, that much more moisture. And it begins to adhere to the bottom of the pan, creating the fun stuff.
Oh, I can see. Yeah, there is a lot more moisture in here than there was before.
Right.
Yep.
Oh yeah, the water's happening. But pretty soon that water, it's going to brown a little bit. You don't want to stir them often. That's another thing I didn't mention.
Okay.
You know, you don't want to be standing there and keep touching and touching, you know. And if you feel like you have to keep touching and touching, that means you may have them on you may have them on too high a flame. In fact, you have them on too high a flame. It's not you may have them. That's the fact of the matter. I'll be done with these shallots in 2 seconds.
Well, I'm sure hoping so, because if I have to come back Friday or Saturday for either these or the stock, you got to make me something to eat after the show.
How about some soft shells? What do you think about that?
Sounds like a good idea.
Go for some crab roos?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, we've got them in.
We're going to be back to visit you one day this week.
Oh, yeah, we can work with that. You know, I haven't had them yet myself. I think I might give them a wheel tonight.
We're good.
But now, you know, I heard that the trend is rather than to just eat a huge entree, a big meal, you know, sit down to dinner and that's it. We're working with a lot of other smaller things now.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we've been just, you know, I used to like to prepare, you know, more or less a complete meal for my guests, and I've just been, I can't do 9,000 things at one time, so that hit the turnpike. And I'm doing more of a, like you said, we're still, you know, I still am cooking dinner as much as I can, but I'm just trying to maybe work a little more with some families too, and see when I can wheel for them. That's what I like to do best. However, options are fun. I think I'm going to combine these a little bit here. Should do this towards the camera. See the amount of water that's in there and stuff? It's all just kind of melting down at the same time that it's browning.
And now, will this help the rest of the onions along, or?
No, I'm just,
not really?
no, it's just kind of getting me going towards the finish line, that's all.
Okay.
You know, I'm always really amazed. I made myself a, see how that, it just, I didn't move it yet, but just how it's sticking to the bottom a little bit now. And then once I stirred all these onions down into it, these are still very hard. And they have a lot of water to give up, and they would help clear that brown off the bottom of the pan. My advice, do not try this at home. It'll drive you crazy. Okay, I'll remove the pan.
Okay.
Yeah, just back to what we were saying, I have a total new way of doing things here. It's really exciting.
Yeah,
Something really different.
Exciting. Very different approach to eating and cooking, and it's great.
Yeah, it's just great.
It's more
right.
options.
And making,
Options are
and the key is to make you feel comfortable going with those options, you know. Okay, I'm going to add about a magnum of wine with the shallot.
Ah.
And for bitterness, that can really happen when you're cooking these shallots out in the wine and stuff. We're going to add a little white wine vinegar. And we're going to reduce this at least 70% of the way.
That was my next question.
Right.
Okay. So basically, the alcohol is really cooked off by the time you get this reduced.
Oh, yes, for sure. And we're just going to put a little spritzel in here. There we go.
And now the vinegar does what?
You know, it just it mellows things out.
Okay.
Things that can get very bitter, you know, and that sort of thing. It just
Okay.
we try not to add so much that it'll affect the flavor in any way. Turn the back burners off.
Just, hear a little sizzle there.
It's just happening. We have to be very careful because we'll have to turn them down even more as we're moving along. All right, I think we have a little time left to do a dish here. We've been watching me do all my preparatory work here, but that does give a little insight to what we're doing here. We'll work on the vin blanc later. I'll finish up the demi-glace, attack the brown. We'll be back here for another hour with these onions, I want to say. And in the meantime, we're going to cook a little blackened tuna. We've had the skillet on for some time now.
Sure have.
And I'll tell you, you really need to get it hot. Cast iron pan. Our little mix of seasonings, we have a little tuna steak here. Our little mix of seasonings is very, very hot. Oh, I'm telling you. So this will get your more than one beer thirst going. All right, the pan's very hot. I'm going to put that in there and boom.
Wow, smoking, smoking.
In fact, I thought that was going to even jump more than that.
No oil.
No oil.
Just a flat pan.
And then how
No oil
long?
needed.
How long do we leave this?
Not very long at all. Tuna is one of those items that, they
Sears
want
pretty
to serve a lot
quickly.
of people next to sushi. In fact, some of
Sure.
them cut it more differently, where it's more like a tube or something, where it's like 1 inch by 1 inch, and just a log on the plate. It looks like, I don't know what the heck it looks like.
Nice. Nice, not burnt. See?
This is
We can do it.
very, very hot.
And now we're serving the tuna with
I was going to put a little,
some arugula.
yeah, I was going to put a little
Yeah.
bed of arugula down. I had that tomato salsa. I do that with a few fish fillets. It's a little lighter dish. A little summer-ish. So put a little arugula down there.
And is that a herbed
little
mayonnaise
herb
or
butter.
cheese? Butter.
A little herb butter.
Mm-hmm. Our famous herbed butter.
And that's about it. This is in the medium rare zone right here, so we're going to, that's going to be it. Got some tomato salsa hanging around here.
Oh, nice and light. Great.
Right, put a little of that on there.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some of our butter. Cut a couple sliverinos onto here. Tuna is really nice stuff.
Oh, it is. Good for you. It's low in calories.
So I put the butter on it, right? And I guess I'll garnish the plate maybe with, I'll put a couple spots of red around here. Like that. We'll go with a couple spots of green also. And I think anything more might be a little overkill. Oops.
Nice.
All right, that's a
Very
little
nice.
blackened tuna,
Mm-hmm.
the tomato salsa, garlic and onion butter, arugula. You can eat everything on the plate.
Folks, thanks for joining Dan and myself in the dining room. We have one sole plate. We really have nothing to show for everything that we did out there, do
Sorry, I know.
we? And that's coming with me.
Now we learned a little bit,
Yeah,
we saw a few
we learned a
stocks
lot.
going and stuff, a couple items like that. The butter melted on a little tuna, but you can see it's still there a little bit.
And actually, we learned actually a whole new way of cooking in the sense that instead of you know, your huge entrees. You know, we have more options. We're
Right,
really working.
like putting the tuna on a hard roll instead of the
Yeah.
plate. That's all right.
Yeah, there you go.
No, just
And some
kidding,
creative things.
Right,
So
right.
that was fun. Okay, well, thank you for joining us this evening. We'll see you next week on Cooking with Dan Lizzie. Take care.